This may be a little bit of a rant. If I use strong language, please forgive me. So please be advised. There may be some strong language. Not sure if I'll use it, but I'm just warning you in advance. You know, I don't know, what was it, a couple months ago? We thought it was the Ebola of the world. Ebola of the world. And I'm going to title this video Lies and Deceits. You know, I happened to look up deceit the other day as just to verify things, and you know, I've had to look up a lot of things over the years, kind of get, you know, the real truth or the honesty of the word, rather than just, you know, using words that I just think I know what they mean, rather than actually understanding what they mean. But it says the action or practice of deceiving someone by concealing or misrepresenting the truth. You know, I kind of hate to say this, but it kind of reminds me of the family I grew up in. Unfortunately, it does. You know, that's why I mentioned that movie, even though people don't like Jim Carrey. You know, I mentioned that movie Doing Time on Maple Drive because when I saw it, it was like a reflection of what happened, what I saw. And, you know, when I watched people comment on, you know, you can actually, you know, type in the movie and you'll see there's some things where people comment below and stuff, and some of the comments, they didn't have a clue of what they were commenting on. They were talking about these people with problems rather than what was really going on behind the scenes. You know, how people acted out, let's just say that. And they didn't even have a clue of the subject of the whole movie. And I saw it a long time ago, and I got it, man. I understood it. It's almost like you're on this journey to figure out the truth, you know, because you just realize something's wrong. And, you know, I was thinking about the Catholic Church the other day, only because I went there when I was young. You know, Mom wanted to impress her mom, or my grandmother, you know, and continue, you know, otherwise she'd feel so guilty, you know, not being able to make her own decisions. And you know, I think our whole family went through the thing. At least I did. You know, you know, and I thought about the subject of somebody. I don't know if it's just, you know, this thing with not, you know, wearing protection or you know, trying to think of the word. I'm sorry. Basically, in regards to having more children. You know, birth control. There you go. And I think there's something in the church where they're really highly against it. Well, hello. You know, and people have this guilt complex, like God's gonna really punish them if they, you know, well, you got, you know, that's the biggest crock of shit, you know, that I've ever heard. You think that God would honor more? Let's just say you have 2 children, and that's all you can afford right now. You know, your current expenses, your wife and yourself, you know, and that's all you have. That's all you can afford right now. That's it. You know, you still want to have sex once in a while, you know, whatever, a few times a week. I don't know. But, and you know, you use proper protection or whatever means you use to where she doesn't get pregnant again. I think God would honor that decision, knowing that you can only afford what you have right now, than somebody on the outside making that decision for you and making you feel guilty. I think that's completely ridiculous. But that's the kind of society we live in. You know, I was talking to somebody a while back about this praying thing, you know, so many times a day. I said, well, what happens if you miss, you know, one of those times per day? It was just a question. Would you feel guilty? You know, maybe staying in a conscious state of mind, you know, throughout the day would work just as well than doing some, you know, whatever you want to call it, special thing. I don't know. Being aware, being conscious. So, as we continue to be fed, you know, all these lies and like I said, let me go back to that word again. The action or practice of deceiving someone by concealing or misrepresenting the truth. You know, that makes so much sense. And in my life, you know, I for some reason, I just had to figure out what happened. Don't ask me why, I just had to figure it out. Because I needed to know. And I have all the answers today that I think I need. And I think if you parents, let me just say this to parents, if you love your children, you'll tell them the truth. Or if you have a best friend, if you love them, you'll tell them the truth. And you know, that would lead into my next video, but I can do it here, and I'll try to do it as quick as I can. This is I don't know if this is an example of love, but you might want to, you know, maybe you'll understand the story. And you know, I go next door, and you know, occasionally I see this guy walking to the bus, and he's a very heavy-set guy. You know, I know he's very uncomfortable, you know, in the current state that he is. And the first time I saw him, you know, negative things came to me. But I don't know if that's just generational or part of my makeup, you know, that continually gets addressed to be changed. I grew up in a very negative household, as I can see, you know, over the years. And, you know, I got the tap on the shoulder one day when you know, as soon as that happened. And, you know, kind of shook me a little bit. You know, let me put it another way. Let's just say that, you know, happened. I mean, but I'm sure this guy in his condition, you know, let's just say, I'm sure not that many people would want to go out with the guy, because they'd be too embarrassed for him to be around them. You know, because they're so insecure of themselves. So let's just say somebody took this guy by the hand, you know, hey, how you doing? And I'm Steve, and he'd probably, you know, freak out and wonder what you want from him. But, you know, you became good friends with him, and then, you know, you got down to the, you know, to the stuff that needed to be addressed. Basically, his current state, his current condition. And you helped him to uncover the reason why he is doing what he's doing. And his own insecurity of the way that he looks right now could drive him to want to eat more, because he's covering up that pain of what people might think of him. You know, that could be the endless cycle. You know, I grew up with two sisters in my family that were really heavy, and, you know, one of them's lost quite a bit of weight over the years, and I've kind of been by her side the whole time. You know, at one time it was embarrassing when I was growing up to be around him, because I was the big bodybuilder guy, you know, the in-shape guy, and I was like, God, I don't want to, you know. But you know, I've been supporting her the whole way because now I understand the reasoning behind what, you know, why she was doing what she was doing. And it was just a lack, it was, you know, it was a lack of love. It was you know, verbal abuse, growing up, degrading, things like that. You know, and she really just wanted love, someone to love her. So in this guy's case, you know, you start getting down, you know, inside, beyond the outward, you know, and you start digging deep, and you really find out what's going on. And I'm sure it's the same story. A lack of love. So maybe that's what we need. And it's hard to get there because there's the part of you that wants to put yourself, you know, elevate yourself a little higher. And sometimes it's very difficult to keep yourself on level planes with others just because of, you know, maybe the way you were raised, where you come from, your attitude now, you know, trying to, you know, to achieve or be in a state of humility. So only one bad word, good. So but that's about it. I'll stop there. Thanks for letting me share. Talk to you later.